Good evening, Chevre. Shalom Aleichem. Whoever's around, whoever's listening. This whole system, what happened now, froze. This whole system is not enough for me. Because generally it's supposed to be verbringen, even a sheep. I freeze everybody. I don't know what happens.
We're listening.
No, someone said saying, you know, I should turn on the camera. I don't know what that is. My camera on?
Yeah, we see you.
Okay.
We hear you, we see you.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that this is a new start from Hashem EMP. But so you know you're talking to. Verbringen, sitzen wir zusammen, take l'chaim together, you sit together, you sing a niggen. So part of a system of verbringen is zusammenarbeiten. Even if you don't know who you are, but at least you hear the vibes when man singt. Man weiß, wer man rettet, das war am Ton. So bei MS is a große Kasche what I'm doing here. But there's man in this special times. Hashem EMP. I think if I'm talking, the Rebbe, so like the Friedrich Rebbe, the Rebbe told the story that the Tzemach Tzedek once by Verbringen said something about a hat maker, Kirchner. He makes hats, he makes different sizes, he doesn't know who's going to fit. Later, when someone comes and buys the hat, then you say, that's for him, and it fits him he made it for. Same when he talks, the Tzemach Tzedek there is when he talks, even though he doesn't know exactly who he's talking to, but when it's later, if you feel that he's talking to you, he takes it all meant you. So they should help that Shem EMP. My message is like this. At times, the reason I'm talking really it's more in the times now. It's mamish. It's a shasagdeir lechol. I think that there's something because it's now coming to Pesach Sheni. We could learn from Pesach Sheni. What are we supposed to be doing now in this time? The Etzem comes out at what's going on now. We're sitting. Everybody has to sit separately. Can't touch with someone else. They can learn with someone else only on the phone. There's no minyanim with nisim heaven. So there's no club. There's only yechidim. But it says, a lot of times, warten to look to echad. Hashem Yisborach is going to take us out of the goal. Each one personally is important. The Hashem Yisborach, who really cares for him, who has himself, the Rebbe speaks a lot, Hashem Yisborach will himself come and take out each one personally from goals. So, in other words, that the person, each one's own personality has a shaykhus directly with the Eibishter, and we have to develop our own personality, not relying on others. Sometimes there's vayakil and there's pekudei. Sometimes it's saying that the Ma'ale of Eden that he's Shem Kol Yisrael, that he's a chelik of Klal Yisrael. And sometimes you speak the Ma'ale of Eden, a Yid, that he, whatever he is in his own, he has a shlichus that he has to use out his personal identity, his personal koiches, and Atzim Sisof, like it says, Atzim Sisof is really the He only cares about you. That's what's happening now. That's what's happening. We all have to now work ourselves out without Damon a minion. Damon a minion is a koyach hatzibur, the shluya, there's zigtanigen, whatever. There's a lot of historians that you get that come and get a shul. Now we have to daven person. It means we can't rely on historians for someone else. We have to on our own get this oiris. We have to stuff a mensch. We have to show this wegstellen other maybe and dabei nicht so well. So that's what's really happening now on this time. And that's a lesson that a lot of Gedolei Yisrael from all the shit are saying that this is what we're supposed to learn. Right now, to look at this time now, if the Eibusher wants us, we should not done with the meaning. The Eibusher wants us, we shouldn't learn the Chavrus or learn in the yeshiva with a whole bunch of bochum they would call Torah. That means the Eibusher wants us to see how we are personally on our own without external help. And he's helping us. He has a plan why he needs it for, and he's helping us so that we should succeed. But that's the Zman now. I was thinking that this has a shaykhis, this whole idea to Pesach Sheni. Besides, before we go further, is that in the Yom Yom, it says that the word is about Pesach Sheni, that even someone like a choiko, and even it's lachem, betzoinoi. In other words, he's far from where he should be. Not only just happened was the shogig, even if it was betzoinoi, he still has a chance to return. Hashem lets him return and come back, make a Pesach Sheni. Hey, why did you tell me my speaker's not working? What do I do here?
It's all working good. It's all working good.
So who said, I'm getting messages. It says your speaker is not working. Please check your connection. You can use a different speaker. How about you do that in the computer? But if it's working, it's
Zeraya is a feel like computer based was said.
Yeah, no, jetzt I lost my whole thing. I don't know. Ich kann sich nicht sehen. What's going on here?
We hear you, Rabbi Gadi.
Okay.
We can see, we can hear.
It's interessant, dass Gora Brot ist, the Reishi Tanya, which is really from the Gimel, says in Peik Mem Zayin that every Yid is Yuchad Udeibishter mit das Mitzvah, and Udeibishter is Yachad him betachel, Yachad the Yid, Vatitel and Hashem al-Keid Ba'ava. Ein minei alonim mit Vekes HaNefesh v'Yichud HaYiroi Yisboch El HaRotzoi. שאם אין האדם רוצה כלל חס ושלום ודווקא בוי וכולי. If a person is a רוצה, so he's spoiling everything for himself. Babes David is giving negative dveikis. The only thing that can disturb that he should be double when Hashem is broken, we could have broken. The only thing that can spoil it is his rotten. Which ain't Adam writes the club. Aber Miyach writes it, but if it adjusted at least he wants. He comes back to the level that he wants to be double to Hashem, Makabul, Manchol, Kusis Bar, Oimer, Hashem, Hashem Echad, and Memele Nechlelis Dafshim Kudis Bar, this is important how the Ratzon is very important. Same time he says, what about someone who is this person who doesn't have this Ratzon? So the Pesach Sheni is around, that even if someone who is Ein Roitze, even he, Pesach Sheni, he could come back, and Pesach Sheni teaches him the way how to come back and get back the Ratzon, and Miyad Ebi shall help him, that will give him Yuchad Deisov. It's interesting, just as you report this of this today's shir with this young but Pesach Sheni, though this is Gimel, this is Yudal, but you have to report this. What I wanted to wegstellen zich auf dem, which is, there's a Wolf always used to verbring, a Wolf Green, so it was my Mashpia in Montreal, Mashpia, Chief Mashpia, for years, so I'm looking at Maiden, used to verbring Pesach Sheni, with a Sicher for the Friedrich Rebbe, which is there, Tavshenalef, Pesach Sheni, Tavshenalef. There the Friedrich Rebbe says that Shenis, there are three Shenis. There's a Nefesh Sheni, Nefesh Olekis. There is a Cheder Sheni, and there's Pesach Sheni. Cheder Sheni, I don't even know if it's the Askoya Malechus. It used to be in all, this is our Bavich Shul, because even in the times, there's Machlikis in the stadium, in the cities, let the people see them have a shul. Well, there's a Domek Cheder Sheni. They could stand, they know that Lubavitch needs a Cheder Sheni. What is a Cheder Sheni? A back room. Another room. The meaning is davening, and there's a place where a person would go in the back, kabadnen sich. He would daven bariches personally away from the crowd. He took himself into his corner, delved into thoughts, zboinen in the lukus, and daven bariches. So if he's sitting in the crowd, would disturb him. So you would have every Lubavitcher shul. I don't know if they had to do it today also. But every Lubavitcher shul had a place, a corner where you would go in, a person would go in and stay there down. He could hear the same time Dusha Bochu, but in his mind, or Kriya, whatever, but in his mind, he was busy with himself and he was davening Bariches. So that's a Lubavitcher Indian, Cheder Sheni, which means a place where you work on yourself to internalize, to daven seriously, to internalize the messages of Chassidus, to figure it out, to be misborn first, and try to bring it into your heart, and there's a galus alev, and daven with that. So that's a Cheder Sheni. So there's Pesach, she says there's a Nefesh Sheni, and there's Cheder Sheni, and there's Pesach Sheni. So the Friedrich Rebbe says, the Nefesh Elokis, the Nefesh Hashenis, and bring it into the Cheder Sheni, and only then you'll get a Pesach Sheni. Pesach Sheni sounds like that's Shuvah. It's a new start. But in order to get a new start, you have to take your Nefesh Hashenis into this Cheder Sheni. That's what the Sikha is. If you look it up, I think it's page 115. In Sefer Sichos Tavshin Aleph, and the Wolf would every year would speak about it. It's verbreitet with this with the Bochen. In other words, what's Pesach Sheni? That you not enough you have a neshama. You could have an official kiss and down the minion. But the Cheder Sheni means that if you want to get the real Pesach Sheni, you have to take the nefesh kiss and take your cue to the Cheder Sheni. Put him into the Cheder Sheni. The Cheder Sheni, you're going to be with your nefesh kiss. It's not enough to do nefesh Bahamis, to bring your nefesh kiss into the Cheder Sheni. And only that's the way how you really get into Pesach Sheni, to get arok, ahei. Let's figure out what's the shot. You need to have the Nefesh Hashenis plus the Cheder Sheni. I want to bring out a thought which, unless you learn Tanya, you don't really have that. That's about the Nekuda of Tanya's. The Rebbe says that the Nekuda of Tanya is the Shabbat to make you korva lechador miyori. That to show how every person could be over Hashem, v'vavcha, ave u'mitire. In late from break, so if someone learns Tanya, remember says the Friedrich Rebbe said that maskilim no learn Tanya till Perek Lamed. That's as much as they could go. All of them could finish till the end. If you look, the concern is for Tanya. So Tanya says that the Pek for Pek Yud Ches, the Pek Yud Tes, the Pek for Hey, it speaks about the Arm Suteres, every hazard in Beteva. At Kezach Nish Opreish of the Neibischen is ready to go and see his Nefesh, every hazard. Okay, so Pek Tes Vav he starts, Pek Tes Zayin, and Pek Tes Zayin he starts. That is another kind of avoider. The avoider is that you are burning and do with Hashem. You are your Shemayim and your Avashem is based on pure logic, because you can figure out do with Hashem and you'll get it so much that it's going to inspire you to have a real Amen, a real Yireh, and so on. So generally, it sounds like there's two separate ways. It's the way that your Shemayim, your Aviyeh, is based on your Etzem Nefesh. Because you have a Neshama, if you say the feeling of your Neshama, so then it's the Dam and the Herzig, and that's what you do. Aviyeh, you go and say as Nefesh, even not the Oiva Aviyeh, as he says in Pek Chofei. Then there's Seichel, but you don't need Seichel for that. You don't need his boldness and knowing Dulas Hashem. Just by unsin and fire from the hearts. But when it comes to Seichel is different avoider. Is avoider that's for a person, only a person who is really good philosopher, big thinker, he could appreciate Gedulas Hashem. And he could have a different kind. That's what Aviyeh Panimi is. It's not a Etzem Neshama that you feel that the only inner he has that's about Neshama goes away from him. A sheikh, if he goes with Seichel, when he figures out things and he really grasps it and internalizes it, and his feelings is Hashem are based on Seichel, that's been more lasting, it's became part of him, and that's the advantage we say Chabad. So you think that's so other Rahim. So what about if someone who can't be misborn and do this Hashem too much? He's a maskil, doesn't know enough Chassidus, even he's older, but he doesn't grasp all these deep thoughts of Chassidus. So he's stuck. He can have an Aviyeh Pnimis. He only could use it as Nefesh Elokis. So the Maisa is that from Pek Mem Aleph on, that in Bekitze it's there in the beginning of the Agdoma, Shayur V'Emuna, that what the Rebbe says there's some kind of a mixture. You have both. You have an Ava and Yired, which comes from Ava and Suteres. In other words, it says all Ava and Yired that a person gets really comes is a spashtus from the Ava and Suteres, the same Ava and Suteres. That's a separate Indian. But if the core, even the Na, like he says, even the Maschil Navodas Hashem, there's plenty of thoughts that he could learn Mazbeh to himself, even to understand the Yoiker of Avodas Hashem. So this person, that's called the Ikavayt, the whole Tanya is about that. That since you have help even the Neshama from the Hamsa Teres, it's a combination. You have the Neshama that's giving you unlimited Varmkeit, fire for that's about Neshama. And you also have Seichel. Chassidus explained to Seichel that everybody in his level could understand something. When you combine them both, so he speaks of Bek Mandala, that it's Kodesh Baruch Hu B'tzarf, and Zmayli Atoyel Mabriya, whatever, everything that you could reach to many heights, both in Kavon of davening, and it brings down to your Shemayim, even with this combination. Even if you only understand, you must wait a little bit. So in other words, you're getting a void of pnimis because you're doing seichel, but don't rely only on seichel because you don't really have. You're not such a big smart man. But there's enough thoughts that you could think about that will make you also seriously convinced about the Reichkeit of Avodas Hashem and your behavior. And together with this, that you will have a neshama. So both together makes that match. And that's what it says. If you learn Tanya, you see that's what this. But give you a motion. We talk about Pek B'Malef. You know already that the Rebbe told me for years that my friends to Ms. Boynen and Pekvim Aleph, to learn Pekvim Aleph, is interesting lotion that ein ish summer life. In the beginning of Pekvim Aleph, he says you should be Ms. Boynen. He says he was going to make Dulus Hashem. First thing he says, you need to have is to have the Begala, the Yira Activis, Shlelimre, the Melech, Malchi, Amram, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kanal. Good. Thanks, Chashayil, where is Kanal? Where did he say that altogether? That's the Yira Activis, that's Shlelimre, and Shlelimre, Melech, Malchi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kanal. You come, you find in Peg Lametes, he says that it's just there's an Am Soteres, there's a Yiram Soteres, and the Yiram Soteres is Shloi Limroid. But if you learn, see this, you know that before he says the Am Soteres shouldn't be, shouldn't, enough. It doesn't say, figure out that the Eish Melech Macher Amlochem Kodesh Baruch Hu and Shloi Limroid for the Eish because he's Melech Macher Amlochem. Here is really saying a new word. That the kind of Yiram Soteres a person is supposed to be Gala is based on that he has some kind of appreciation of the Eish as Melech Macher Amlochem. And it continues. I know, Shem is Boinen, V'Gedolos Yisborech, Malchusoi, Malkulam, Stoykulam, Maniach Kodesh Baruch Hu, Yevim Tachtoinim, and so on. Then, he says, the Eibishter, this Boinen Shalom is Maniach Yonim, Miachet Shmeilam, Yisro B'chlal, V'Olav, V'Frat, Kichayiv Adam Lim Yishulanoi Ba'olam, then V'Ini Havai Nitzavala, which means, what's the year that is asked for Pekvim Aleph? Is that just Kabbalah's or it's Reshus Avodah? Is it just plain Kabbalah's or you know you make up your mind that this is what I'm gonna do, no matter what. I'm not because I'm serving Hashem. I'm doing because this is I'm in my mind. You have every time after the Christian after the discussion, you force yourself to follow this regimen. That's not what he's talking about the year that's a Reshus Avodah V'Ikar V'Shosha. The year has to be based who you are, that the Rebbeinu Shalom is Rebbeinu Shalom, and have respect for him, and he's Mamal B'Zoyim, and Service Almas, and then he decided to give us mitzvahs, and me personally, and then, when you look at yourself, you have I mitzvah love and expecting you to do for him that you the only one who could do for Hashem, something that he can know enough to do for him, and that's to make him a melech. That means love. So in other words, Chabad doesn't ask just Kabbalah Soul, do it. For sure, if it gets you away from Aveira, do it. So maybe a whole day when you have to remind yourself so many times, you could remind yourself just that I need to love these rituals. But by the davening, a person should enhance and to make the yire more with a gefil, who is but I'm not a tongue. It has to be there for Hashem. I want expression. I always keep on saying this whenever I talk, that when the Rebbe told me the first time, when I was then 16 years old, he told me to Chazepek Malef, this piece till Goyim Ne'amelech. The Rebbe added on, this is going to bring simcha to you. This sounds like altogether different. People think that you Chazepek Malef at the Chazah because they remind yourself that the is standing over you because you're the most important thing in mind. He wants you to do what he wants, and now he's going to shoot you out. You're going to go Gehenna and burn 7 million years. That's Yiras Ha'orinesh is not brought out. You can use it with the Yevet. That's not what Yira is. Yira is a respect for the awesomeness of Hashem and the awesomeness of yourself, of the truth that we have to do Torah mitzvahs. So the Rebbe says at the same time that you're having this year, because you own the Fnei Hashem, so also you have the simcha that only you have a chance to do that. He says that Melech Rom and Nisa comes down to the head, to the homeless person and picking him up and kissing him and hugging him the same way you're supposed to think we take them out, that the Eibishter took me and he dafke me. Not only that, not just that he have to do it. But the Rebbe explains that by mitzvah love, that it means that the Eibishter is counting on you. Since the Eibishter wants to be a melech, we know what a melech can be without the am. So Kavayochu needs someone to be machtarim. So he's waiting for you that you should become little machtarim and machtar HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So there's people that which they needs you. For spheres and malchus to need you. Can't say he has the clear those spheres and malchus. But once that is boichel spheres and malchus, nicht gedingele. Because spheres and malchus is lushish rotz der muchel, that's what is work. This spheres and malchus is waiting for my behavior. This is what the Eibishter makes me important. So you shiver of the awesomeness of both of who you're dealing with, because you just understood and all this there's a so to it. And then it says that in the most melucha, and you're not going to do it, no one's going to do it, because you're the most important person in the world. And every minute that we're doing, so we're thinking about that we're zoiche to do that. It's an awesome responsibility, an awesome schus. Here's the same idea that there is academics. It's not just gotta do. You have to use stakev coming from the Yam Suteres. But in order for it to be meaningful, we have to be misboinen. At least it's not Pshitas of Eitzah. This is just from Nevroim alone. So many Nevroim, so many elements. So Cheshvan and the Eibishter, one of the lowest people in the world is Yodadish B'nafshoi. And Kavayochel gave me a schus to be machte him a manliche. So this is the example. Bemes, that's only for Yidden. In what it says in the Aglomer and Shayich of the Munir Kitzah for Pekman Vav, it speaks about the Simcha that the Eibishter gives us, hugging us, kissing us, giving us betoich showing us such a and letting us do mitzvahs. The Rebbe said that the Rebbe says that that's there that's called miyoid more than what he said before. That's called miyoid. There's only one more. This is a spec when Vav is miyoid means that the worst, lowest person and the worst, not learned person, but still has enough there. And the young boy, the Rebbe says, that even a boy that's 16 is asked to have Ava Yireh. He gives example now if he's going to figure out these thoughts together with the Avam Sheteres, using also your brains, then you could internalize the richness of being a Yid, Nachrayis, being Mashiach, whatever. You're asked to really appreciate it. This is the word that I think that you have to take the nefesh hashenis. You have already nefesh hashenis. You have a nefesh hashenis. You have it. You have Imam Suteres. Fine. And use Imam Suteres. You go like you're going to Kiddush Hashem every second. You don't have Averas like you're getting different. That's not taking it, internalizing it. Internalizing means that it comes in your seichel. You get a Samidis, B'Zgalus Alev, based on Seichel, together with the Etzem Tabsayid. So together, then, you get to a real place of shame that you really do true. again. Now's the time, whatever's going on now in the world, everybody says that it's no doing like that since V'yisraelis. Even when it's misnagdim, everybody says already, I heard that misnagdim are giving out cards. What bracha we're going to make when Mashiach is coming, because Mashiach is coming, got up. There's no other explanation. Everything fell down. Money doesn't give you anything. You're not even sure that you're going to have a alvaya like Chachman and Islam. You should know it. You can have how much money you want. They're going to have. But see what's happening over your lives. Your health. You're not getting money with your health. Hospitals are going. They kept cup mentioned for the whole America, the whole world. Nobody knows what's going on. You have someone who's doing all this to us. It's not like any other time when there was Milchama Kegiden, there was a Loichem, there was the Germans, there was the Russian army, there was Belnitsky, you know, there's a Soine, you're fighting with the Soine. Now, you can't have no tigers to nobody. Nobody. It's only Hashem's Baruch is bringing this Magdefe. And we know, it says in Gas HaKodesh Pekut Aleph, that ain't other Nekevetz boy. Everything has personally as a protest with Hashem's Baruch. Ein Rayer no Maila. We have to believe Hashem is doing it for our Teuve. Everything is fully Teuve. That's Achais. And if you don't do that, if you don't believe that, says it gets a courage to skill to be like you have to believe that everything is happening with Hashem. So everybody is saying here, look, this you hear for that even all the goyim are even praying. But they have no answer. What do you do? They only know you only das the kernels to the Meibishn. It's logical. It's shown in the world that now in a massive that we have to uncommon notes on the Meibishn. We don't know why he's doing it. For sure, it's for good. Sounds like it's a chonef, it's a birrer of the world, the last birrer to bring Mashiach. Because only Gilui Mashiach could answer the tzar that somebody in the head for this. There has to be only the Toiva. So only the Toiva can just as much as there was the tzar, as the come the simcha, be a simcha. It should only happen when Mashiach is going to come. But the person sitting himself in his room, in this Cheder Sheni, he has to be, the idea is to speak to himself logically. I have to do tshuva. I have to make a Pesach Sheni. Why? You can look two opposite ways. If you have a snagid, you say the Mishnah, Shuv Yom Echad L'Fnei Mitzaska. Nobody knows if he's going to live the next day. So what kind of problems is he going to have? All of a sudden, he's going to be whatever, and Azoita comes to the Meibishn. Look the other way around. There's a chassid that the Rebbe says we should be happy. As Otot Kut Mashiach, the word is preparing itself for Mashiach. Here you see that Otot's coming Mashiach. Am I going to be left out? We're not going to have to face the Rebbe and tell the Rebbe I was a Talmud Temchim. But he see, I just heard now, interesting, and I just that someone saying over the label Groner said such a thing. It was Nissen Nemenov came to 770. It was an Yechidus, and after the Yechidus, he always had a minhag to verbringen the Wochen after the Yechidus. Next morning, when the label Groner went in the Yechidus, as he used to go every day, the Rebbe came brought him in his mail and so on. So the Rebbe asked him, what did the Rebbe Nissen verbringen about? Punkt. He heard that the Baruch told him that this was verbringen about that everybody was pushing ourselves to be close to the Rebbe, you want to stand next to the Rebbe, you want to the Rebbe's meaning, you want to see him here or see him there, and you forget that the Rebbe looks at you and he sees, it looks at your face and sees your machshava, dibur, and maise, you should be ashamed to push your nose in front of the Rebbe. If you're standing next to the Rebbe, behave well. So this is what he is bragging about. So the Groner told the Rebbe, he asked him what this was bringing. So he told him, this is what it's bragging about. So that was what he said. He says, gerecht. In other words, the Rebbe acknowledged that the Rebbe looks at you. He wants to know not just what kind of suit you were wearing. For him, it's important. You must show a little on my side. We sit in the shade. We sit locked up here. Is a very important. There's no other way to explain our existence and this whole story is happening without understanding as to does everything by the practice and he does what he wants. So logically you could figure it out. But Mashav and Alev never didn't bring it out into your life. That if so, I better change my behavior and do like whatever it says in Tanya, whatever it says in Torah and Chumash. I should be Shabbos the way he's supposed to. I should learn this. I should be supposed to. I should do Torah Mitzvahs the way he's supposed to. That's the reality. The reality is do this that Cheduk Kamal Mamish. You are Tomim. You are Hashem is what says we should feel in every oil. And every minute that we do, every minute he counts on us to do so much for him. Are we that way? So sitting locked up and davening echad. It's very important because, like I said, there are two ways to look at it. We never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Shape up. Use whatever says the seed is to figure out to take not only rely on your nefesh or the kids and the munah that you have, that every is baminim, but learn chassidus enough, think of these things logically. I always tell the Bochim that this burnness before the davening is not just kazer mayim b'har. To understand about chassidus and the yisoidus of chassidus, understand it so well that, let's say, if you meet someone in the street, a very smart person, and tells me, explain me what means Hashem Echad. But Torah say what Jewish people believe in. You're going to have to tell them on the spot something, especially if you're going to be an older person, that you're not a child, a baby anymore. And you can't tell him that the Maimah says, this Maimah says like that, the Björk says like that, this Mashpia says like that. He doesn't know from the Maimah, but you tell him in English, plain English. Could you tell him that and convince him how true this fact is that Hashem is Yochid or Miyuchad and everything is what sees to him, and he gave us Torah mitzvahs? Could you logically explain it to him? It's good. If you can't, that means you yourself don't know how to explain yourself. Your nefesh habahamis, which is big time so far, that's your real you, didn't yet get the point. So that you have to figure it out. So this burden doesn't mean to learn about Ak, this burden Ak and about Gadlon, Tatzilis, and first thing first, to know Atus Hashem. Know at least the first three prokim of Shayir ve'emunah. It's possible to explain it even to a goyder that says, so explain it to yourself in a way, not just that it says it in the Sefer. And Wolf said once a story used to use this, a mol given in Montreal when Yiddishist. So there was a Yiddish newspaper called the Canada Odler. So whatever, someone was talking once with something, so this guy says, steht in Zeitung, steht in Canada Odler. It's nicht a chemish mimish, it just says a chumash. It says it in the newspaper. In other words, a certain level in your head, until it says in the newspaper, you don't really mean that therefore you're going to have to go and buy something, buy a mask, do things because just says the chumash, it's not going to make you go. to buy this mask. Only when the Mahazir tells you that it's dangerous if you go without a mask, it's all these other things, then you do it. Why is it that it says the Torah that's dangerous to be Kabbalah Machshav Zorah B'Rotzen, the Gittish Ketzitter? Because the Torah is still a makif in you. Ilkus is makif. This is the idea of a Chayda Sheni, taking the Nefesh Ulekis into Chayda Sheni, coming to understand the reality that's more real. The Messiah is that the world is run by the Eibishter, it's created by the Eibishter. Nothing can move without the Eibishter. That's more real than all the stories in the newspaper. And if it's more real, so that's the way how you personally should behave, because it's very important. That's the real important for you. And only that way you could really do tshuva the best shape. So these idioms that is a nefesh kiss, and there's the seichel that you should use, and that'll bring you to the tshuva. These are very important to come together. I was asked to say things that the Rebbe told me, and it's a lot to say. I can talk about 50 different things. Right now, I just want to say, when I was a young boy, speaking what the Rebbe told me, not as a mashpia, but the Rebbe told me as a bocher. When I was a bocher at that age, the first thing I was then, this was when I was 15. When I was 15, I learned Limud Choil. I think Mat didn't have a mashpia. I enjoyed playing ball. I enjoyed to listen to a baseball game. We were not fans of the Dodgers. That's what kind of guy I was. I didn't have nobody to teach me as the Anders. The Rebbe himself picked me up from the Barim Yashbis Yorim Evyoin, and he taught me all along, picked me up. And first, when I was bar mitzvah, let me just tell you on the side of it. I was bar mitzvah, so at that time, when I went in for the birthday for bar mitzvah, the Rebbe would say a word in Torah. Later years, when it came to birthday, he just said that you should be misnag, Meledes, but he didn't say anything else unless you asked the question, so he answered that question. But when he came to the bar mitzvah those years, the Rebbe would say a dvar Torah that's based on according to the seder of the week. So then when I went for the bar mitzvah, so it was Pasha Shmois. So there's a Pasha Shmois starts. Very Shmois of the Yisrael, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda. The Medrash says, Reuven, Shimon, the Shmois. Why do you say Shmois of the Yisrael? Because Reuven, Shimon, Nachsu, Reuven, Shimon, Salku. They stayed with their Hebrew name. They stayed with Reuven, they came in Mitzrayim. The name was Reuven, Shimon. And because they kept the Jewish name, Shlishim Shmom, like it says in Medrash, so that brought them out of Golos. They should be able to, they came out of Golos, they were Golos. Next, Hashai says, why does the Medrash just use Reuven Shimon? Other names you could use, why do you use Reuven Shimon? Says Reuven Shimon says, see this, that's the Inyan of Aviyah and Shmiyah and Lakus. So David told me, listen here. In order to go out of Mitzrayim, if you bring along, when you go to Mitzrayim, you remember in Mitzrayim, to learn Chassidus, and until you get to Reuven Shimon, Shmiyah, that's going to take you out of Golos. The Rebbe told me about Mitzvah boy. You should know. If you're going to learn Chassidus and go besnag without Chassidus, so you'll come to read Shmiyah and Lakus, that even though right now you're in America, Golos, and even though you're learning the Limud Choil, which is a chasam, yet even you, if you learn Chassidus, you'll be able to reach to a much higher level, uplift from this old Golos. So that's where the first time the Rebbe started me off with to learn Chassidus. After the mitzvah, might have been really a year before the mitzvah. Also interesting. So I didn't mean to speak about it, but I'm not sure. Once you open the taps of Yisach, it was the Rebbe gave Chanukah geld to Bochum. He gave Chanukah geld to Bochum and learn Chassidus. Also he get Chanukah geld. So after it was finished giving Chanukah geld, the Rebbe called in my father. I told him he wants to give me also Chanukah geld, which then is $1. But since he gives only to those who learn Chassidus, so I have to start learning Chassidus. My father is a young boy. I think I was then either 11 or 12. What kind of Chassidus? So he says you used to start off a moment learning the Maimah Oleki Yakir Kutatoya. So learn with him the Maimah, and then you could give him this money from me as Chanukah. So the Rebbe again pushed me on to learning Chassidus even from as a young boy. As time progressed, I want to tell you, I got a letter from the Rebbe. After I wrote to the Rebbe that I don't know how you must be. I know you're supposed to be different. I don't know what to do. So first the Rebbe told me that you got to Matzasa. Lo you got to Matzasa, Altam. Then he said, since you're learning in Torah Mimim, anybody learns the Torah Mimim that Miyasdeho Naleo is the Friedrich Rebbe and his father Rashab are always Moire Rachmim Akor Tomidim. So you have a special thing that the Rabbeim are Moire Rachmim for you. So if you're going to learn at least with some Yigiyah, you'll Matzliach on Nashir. I don't think then you should read this. But I want to say here is that the Rebbe finishes the letter. I was 15 years old. The Rebbe says, Begrocha, the Talmud Torah, Yira Shamayim, over Pnimis, Torah. So the Rebbe says, not enough you should be learning. You should be learning, you should have Yira Shamayim. What kind of Yira Shamayim? It should be Pnimis. Pnimis, like you said, it should be not just a Yira Tivis that comes to the Shom. It has to come by learning Chassidus, understanding Chassidus, then your Yira Shamayim will be a Pnimis, that you really mean it, you'll understand what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, and your Shamayim will be based on the truth. So the Rebbe tells a 15-year-old kid that even he has to try, and then he was a Baruch Masliach to learn Chassidus and to come to Yira Shamayim, Pnimis Yira Shamayim, which is, as I said before, a Yira Shamayim that you get through his bonanos and understanding Yichud Hashem, understanding the Los Yisborch and the Melech Macham Lochem, all these things will add on that you should really mean it. But again, Hot Rachmones, you can't. This is not. It sounds like we are giving a speech. I'm talking. I don't even know how to talk. You tell Gary see he's got to be a good boy. This is emergency time. It's emergency. You have to be. It's not just a tzoleh. You have to save other people's lives. We have to save our own life. And really, what's with that? And what's needed, even give a dogma, the same idea that the Rebbe said about the Sikh of Nissen, that the Rebbe said he already did whatever he could, and now he's looking up to us. What the time was, everything is happening. If he says you say Admosa, you say Admosa. Do you really mean it? And after that Sikha, which was a big bomb, when my father went over afterwards to get $1, so the Rebbe told him, Leinoga Leipoga. Whatever I said, you still didn't get it. Nobody got it. Leinoga Leipoga. What does it mean? The Rebbe is saying, it doesn't ask you should do my favor and sing at Mosai, You're doing a favor. You should want on your own and understand that we have to go out of goals. It's time to go out of goals. We have to ask the Boy Shalom, really mean it, and change our anhoge, expecting that we ought to Mashiach. This is emergency. And the Rebbe felt, how after all these years, the Rebbe means it what he says. When he speaks of Maimon, and says a secret, tells you the Rebbe Tanya. All this is, that's reality. You can't say, I'm not going to say Tanya. It's cocky, it's not for me. Said you have to watch your eyes, it's not for me, this for Ungarish, it's for that head. Today is a new time. Did the Rebbe say that? Does a person have a right to say that Torah mitzvahs, doesn't today, is not for everyone today, whether young or old or whatever? Everything said the Reise. Have to. See this once, that we should not only do it exactly the way the Torah wants, we should appreciate doing it, we should mean it. And if it's because it's coming time for Mashiach, we should learn Mashiach for the good is you're going to have all the candies and the big candy bars hanging all over on every tree. The Sarah Achom does is such a Mashiach to come closer, meaningful more to understand Dulas Yisrael the bottle and the Kus Kamama Yom Machasik. That's what expected for us, that we should want that, we should mean it. This is why we were taking children. Listen here. Don't do what someone else does. You're diving in a minion. I saw everybody in the minion. See so many people are talking about the minion. So many people are not spending time on this oneness. So they will also do it. Go into the corner and work with yourself. To explain to yourself. If you can't explain to yourself, find a mashpia will explain it to you. Don't forget about Ak and Mak and the brass tack, Poil Mamish. What is a Shemechot? Is it something just a minor says? Or the paper says it? Is there any way that you would say different? Plain logic. If you figure it out, you come with logic. The nicer that you have in the Neshama, that the Neshama will help you, inspire you. So just again and again and again, you have the Neshama, and you have your Seichel, and you have to combine them, and that will make us that we do tshuva. Says it Tanya in Pekman Beis. First it says that there's Moshe Das is Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what a Rebbe gives, and every day is a Rebbe that we should be able to have Das, which means to realize when we think about this, that it should be a reality, just like when you're thinking about the Vagashmi, thinking about the Chus, it should be so real to us, at least like a Vagashmi. That feeling you get, that's what a Rebbe is for, and that's what the Rebbe does. He wants to help us, that each one of us should have Das. It says later, Mizboinen, and figure out. Later, God comes and tells you the truth. Listen here. For sure that he said to do it, that this should hit you, and you should get a real, even a year, Shemayim, a year, that's going to lead you, bring you to Shmiras Torah Mitzvahs. You have to have his bonus, and it takes a long time. You have to have his bonus. Shoaruch, and he explains that you have to have this bonus. You have to have two things: Yes, nefesh and Yes Bosa. Yes Bosa means to tshuva. Yes nefesh means to wrap your brains and do that every day. Only that's going to help. Even though it says you know that he was born and he does Hashem and you get up in the morning. It's just like it's automatic. Just think, do Hashem, and all of a sudden you can get a yireh. The Torah says take it easy. It's not so fast. That's speaking about Hoich and Neshamis. What about, look it up, what about people who have low-level Neshamis and also Hutman Nafshay B'chatas Nurim? You did a virus, that's a vergrept. If it's vergrept, how much you're going to spoil, it's going to be, you're like Teflon. You made a Teflon, then it's not letting the Averis. Your Teflon is that when you put food in a frying pan, the food shouldn't stick to the pan, because such a thing that you put in the separate till the pan. And when I have here, but the pan shouldn't get verbrannt. The same way, let's have it as burning sign. But if he has Chatois Yurim, if he has Chlaveus, that's going to disturb that the union is bonus in with Al Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not going to work. So that the Rebbe says you have to do tshuva portion. Every day you have to do tshuva. Every day, once a week, you have to do tshuva. And you have to be mizbarnin a lot. Only then it's going to hit. So one hand that the Rebbe says you have to be mizbarnin and you have to be nisoyer, and then it tells you between me and you, there's a whole story. First, if you're going to need your neshama should be made, your nefesh should help you, that the bond should work over you, you have to be first a higher neshama. If you have a high neshama in a way, if you have a low neshama, it takes long. It's not the neshama is not going to be so bright. Besides, there's another Indian, which is the Indian of being poshet from a yid. If you ask to be a philosopher, is that thinking understanding God Hashem, and it's a double poshet. What's going to get you? So I pulled my beard, Shabbos, or every day. I bit my nails in the Shabbos. I got to do more. What is that going to have to do with philosophy? I'm a big philosopher. Ich verstehe alle Sachen. So I should become inspired from this philosophy. He says, not going to work. To understand the lakus, and you should become inspired from it, that you have to be a fumarit. Everybody knows that what Hill, that Hill said that all is a moenik mahadar mitzvahs. He said all his hidden mitzvah was kedezos leg navot chassidus. But so kiyama mitzvahs, hidden mitzvah, you can't go away from that. If you want to become realized the truth, levada mensch, don't say that it's not the biggest problem of mine today. The Rebbe kept on saying that there's a Rambam, I think in the Igis, a Rambam that it says that will come the time for reckoning, and you will be asked also about the Tilas Yadayim, whether you didn't, not only whether you're not a Gazlan, you're not a Noyef, you're not a Ritzeach, and you even the Tilas Yadayim, it's a Rabbonon, even that, you're going to have to get cheshbon from it. So you're not going to get away with it. So, Agav, I just lately had a discussion with a brother. He says he doesn't. I asked him, how do you wash negelvas in the morning? He says he doesn't wash two negelvas. Either he washes by the bed, he doesn't wash again, or he goes to the sink. How much I tried to explain them how it says that the Tilas Yadayim in the morning, he said, take away a Ruach HaTumah. There's the famous story. The Bocher came to the Groinem in the Lubavitch one day. He says, if you go down Tilas Yadayim, so then you're going to, the Ruach HaTumah comes on you. So he said, I went today without Negelvatz. I'm going here standing in front of you. I don't feel the Ruach HaTumah. She says, that's your Ruach HaTumah. The Ruach HaTumah means that you're not refined, you're not susceptible to be scared for Aveira. You have a Ruach HaTumah, you do Aveiras, that Aveiras, Taptemes, Liber Shalodam, Moichewe, Liber Shalodam, that his head and his brain, what's a Sheikhs has washing Negelwasser, to I should be able to understand that's called the philosophy of Chassidus. It doesn't work. This is a lukus. And you need it. That you be able to be a shaman, you have to have a solid lukus. And you have to have Gilei HaNeshama. And Torah mitzvahs are very important to bring down this lukus that's there. Sign a circular course. What's that circular course? The Amish, the studying about the Amish. So you want the Amish should let himself be known to you, and you tell him a fight. I don't need no Negelwasser. It's not important. I have other things in my head. They ask me, they shouldn't think much of his service. Come on. It's old time. It's not there anymore today. Oh, let's talk about this. He says, this is something that's a Lubavitcher thing. The Rebbe would write to Bochum hints. They have to be Nizer and Tfilas Ezra. What are you doing today? Mikveh is important. You have no mikveh. What do you do? You're learning Mishnais, Mikvois at least. You take a shower, you dish your cabin. These are things that the Rebbe wrote to Bochum, to be Nizer. And not even a shaila even whether this could help for Tfilas Ezra or not. But for Toysestara, for sure it's important to do these things. These are all very important in order that you should be able to bring down the nefesh in the Chedesh Sheni and to have a Soiris in Yerushalayim, a Soiris Pnimis. But you must do it. What's going to happen? Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? It's no joke. Look around what's happening. We have to figure out, so we have to mention about if you do Averes, you have to do Tshuva. So it's known and see this that even though you can do a whole bunch of Averes, Tshuva can be Rega Achas, to make up your mind no more. That Tshuva, Rega Achas, changes your matzah from being a Rosh Gomer, a Matzadik Gomer, a Maskir Ledover, Lechotzi Dover, Yemadin. So these things, you have to do Tshuva. Tomorrow you do another way, you have to do Tshuva again. But you have to continue to do Tshuva. It's very important, but Tshuva helps. How bad is a way that a person did? Even he can do Tshuva. It's full, Dr. Rebbe is full of that. That's the simcha this person is supposed to have, that they knowing what we are still gives us a chance. We still do Tshuva, still do Torah mitzvahs, accepts our davening, accepts our mitzvahs, standing by our lips and kissing us every time that we say a word of davening to him, even though he knows what we are. So we mail this inyan of nefesh elokis and using the seichel, Chedesh Sheni, and Tshuva, which is Pesach Sheni, are all complementing one to each other. I think over time. I wanted to just another nakud is very important. Whoever's over here, the moderator, if you want to chop it off or leave it for another, make a new speech of it. Like Bochrim, and we mentioned before that they have to have Gilui on the Neshama. The Rebbe gives das, and now is the time that we have to. I really wanted to say other things from my history, maybe another time. I want to say just this word. People ask, the Rebbe said you're supposed to believe in Varem, some people look at themselves, go to 770, you see certain Bochrim in the light, kochen sich sehr stark, and you are mechanic them. How come did they get to that? Well, the same way is scarce to the Rebbe. Some people who are looking to have a feeling of a scarcity to the Rebbe, and they see other people who their scarcity is much very. So there's a maimon for the Rebbe. So the Yonim, Sefer Yonim, page Tov Samachalov, I think. He says, B'Shem Abal Shem Tov, that the reason why some people, the tzaddik is shining on them and they become inspired, and some people don't, Sometimes it's because the tzaddik is hidden and doesn't want to be felt by other people. But it's also because Gilgul had neshamas. Only because the shamas that already went through all this whole state of Gilgulim, that they are mezuchach, so that's why their neshama could be over here and could feel the kedusha of the tzaddik and be attached to him. Other people, how much they want, they're not going to do it, can't get it automatically because their neshama is still not purified. So therefore, he says, you see, it could be a kid that's 15 years old, 30 years old, and that kocht sich in Rem, or in Mashiach, and he's not even such a big tzaddik. Yeah, pushtach ve'angel, that kocht sich, and he's someone else is a great tzaddik, and he doesn't have a feeling. So the reason is because of the people's neshama. He got it not because of the mitzvahs. He got it because of the neshama is already shined in him, and then he could feel the right from the tzaddik. Mashiach is someone who was not yet when it was all Seder. That's right. So therefore, someone who is ready, who is Bekusha, or Kotzach Mashiach, and see someone else isn't. The Alter Rebbe said, don't look at him, don't blame him, don't call him, curse him out. He's not born yet. He can't yet feel it. Whatever you have is a matan al that you do have a feeling. So this is a minor of the Alter Rebbe. So there's also another minor in also Alter Rebbe's minor. I don't know, I'm going to say that the level of iskashkes Rebbe has to do with what level of your neshama is while you're born and so on. But akash. The Rebbe wants us to kochel Mashiach. The Rebbe wants us to be mekusha. We're trying, and we say, if it's it has to do with your neshama. It doesn't have to do with what you behave. It doesn't have to do with your Torah mitzvahs. It could be what you said before Torah mitzvahs. But they are saying it's not really only because of your missing Torah mitzvahs. It's because your neshama is not on the level yet that could feel the glory, the feeling into them. So that's some kind of a nechama. So what do you do? What do you do? Let's say if that's the reason that you have a low level neshama, you know the gilgul, and you ended up to such a low level, and it wasn't done. So it's an interesting thing, however, for the Rebbe. No, we learned Tanya. So Peik Yudalid, it says that everybody should try to be a tzaddik. That even though might be that you don't have a neshama that you become a tzaddik, you could only be a beinoni, but still teach tzaddik. Shvu is still teach tzaddik. Try and work. And then he says, maybe the Eibush will give you an extra neshama b'chibul, and you'll get this nefesh kiss, a new nefesh kiss. That because of that, you'll probably to be a tzaddik, even though the way you were born, you couldn't have been. But if you get your zoicha, the neshama to come a tzaddik, you'll be able to become a tzaddik. But it says once, interesting. Then there's another place you won't even notice it. It says in the end of page Malif, last lines. The Rebbe says, everybody has. להשיג תחילו חימו שכלי, not טבעיס, וכול היי וכולי, כנ"ל. If you learn Poshet, it says, if you try, maybe you'll get it, even that you'll be able to understand, get l'chkai to the way of tchilo chimo sichlim, not based on our Davis. So the Rishimis, for the Rebbe, it's called the Sefer Goes, he brings his God, one place, another place. The Rebbe says that this is also means that you may get a new neshama. not to be a tzaddik, even just to get siklim is also, if you're going to work kulai viulai, and you'll be able to get another neshama, then you'll be able to have your siklim. So if we say that it's possible to get a new neshama, not only to be a tzaddik, even to get out of your siklis, ulai yeshloimar, that if we work on ourselves, just like try to get out of your siklis, teach tzaddik, try to become a tzaddik, try to koch sich in Mashiach, try to koch sich kashas in the Rebbe, where the Rebbe says, learn about Mashiach, learn your Nebula, and whatever, and the kashas the Rebbe so much to see, is how to strengthen our kashas. To kulai ulai, that will get the derech ibur of nun neshama. If you're missing a neshama, your neshama is only a low-level neshama, it's still possible to get a better neshama. I recognize for that there's such an Indian that they should give you a different kind of an nefshel kiss without that problem. So that might be a answer for this problem. Anyway, it's getting later and another time. To finish off, I just want to say that when the Rebbe taught me both as a bocher and my chaverim as bocherim, and later as a mashpia, it's very important to have a mashpia. It's very important to say chorav. You can't come and rely on the Rebbe, and the Rebbe should just take care of you. You have to have personal advice, constant advice, because from this mashpia, how there's different levels in avodah, there's different things that are asked. When the Rebbe says and he speaks about you have to do neshek. That means you have to, the Abba has to do it. They speak different things that the Rebbe says. You have to know what at your age now, at your level now, what can you do, what should you do. A few months later, you'll be a different master. A few days later, you might have to do differently. Is it just a golden sign? Is it time winter is one thing, summer is another thing. So they're different in life. Same way the Rebbe said, what you should ask the Yechidus, I asked the Yechidus, what should I make a Seder learn after the Seder? What should I learn? Nigla, Sidis, Allah. The Rebbe said, I can tell you Seder. You have to speak with your know why. Because sometimes it's important for you to learn Allah. Sometimes something else. Things change. You have to someone who understands you, knows what's going on with you, not just what Allah is. Maybe now you're in a time you're going through hardships because of a hobby, whatever. So it's not time to go learn in a school. Maybe it's time to learn easier things. Maybe forget. So you have to always have it, and everything, there's always changes in life. And the mashpia works with you alone also went through, as a bocher, went through many things the same as you. He should be able to advise you. Today, what should you do? According to your level, what should you do? The same way in Zboinenus, what kind of Zboinenus, how much time to spend, Shabbos, middle of the week, and so on. The same way in everything like that. You have to go slowly, not so that it's a very one thing that the Rebbe taught me, both as a mashpia, what's my achrayis, and as a bocher, how I should live. That's very important to have a mashpia. It's because that's the only way that you'll ever say that to be able to go pnimis, to have aliyah, mile. Anyway, chavre is the best I can do without mashke, without knowing who I'm talking to. But the seriousness of the time made me agree to such a thing, to, I don't know what's called, if I bring in droshe, if it's got tanayim in brie. Today, when the time is asking somebody, we gotta change. We gotta aufheben. So I'm putting in my two words. They stel that my words, Yichlus Advorim, was not, was Shoimim, and Yiflu Advorim, Gira Shoimim. Zaina Pesach Sheni, Zaina Gule Shleimo, take it from Yad. Kitzer, das ist es. Sie sind im Reben, sie sind alle, was in der Weg gegangen. Alle sollen haben für Schleime, alle Jiden. The Eibusher should take away this Magif of Klal Yisrael and only show us the Torah Hanelam. We should become brave and Golui. We should see with our own eyes, and you'll see the Eibusher is promising him that we are going to change our ways. We're going to have Ave and Yira to do his mitzvahs. We do every mitzvah. We have every year for this mitzvah, for another mitzvah. How many mitzvahs you do a day? So many times to get credit for so many minutes of mitzvahs, so many different mitzvahs. Seid gebencht, alle seien gesund.